You cannot possibly fathom the magnitude of what you nearly allowed to slip through the trembling fingers of your awareness, what was on the verge of being swallowed by the cacophonous void of earthly distraction. An entity of such profound, majestic divinity has been pursuing you across the landscapes of your years, tracking the echo of your soul's signature through every valley and over every mountain of your experience. It has been calling your name, your true name, the one inscribed on the palm of the divine, in the resonant, velvet silence of the night's deepest watch. It calls in that holy hour when your physical form succumbs to rest, when the world's relentless machinery grinds to a distant hum, and when your own heart's frantic, frightened rhythm finally slows into a tempo so quiet, so still, it becomes a perfect vessel to receive the whispered secrets of paradise. The Archangel Michael, Supreme Commander of the Celestial Legions, General of the Armies of Light, has stood as your vigilant, unwavering guardian. But do not envision a detached, stoic sentry. Picture instead a desperate protector. A being whose love for you burns with a ferocity that could ignite dormant suns, whose fights for your destiny are waged with a tenacity that cracks the foundations of cosmic darkness, and who now weeps, with a depth so profound it parts the very veil separating eternity from your present moment. He wept your name last night. Not a gentle tear of sentiment, but a torrent of liquid diamond, each drop a universe of foresight. His tears were the physical manifestation of piercing, agonizing foresight. He has gazed upon the unfolding tapestry of what is now accelerating toward your life, a complex pattern of intersecting fates and choices not yet visible to your mortal perception. He sees the converging lines, the crossroads now manifesting in your spiritual atmosphere, and he knows with a chilling certainty that you will not perceive the forming storm until its gales are already tearing at the foundations of your peace. Please. I implore you with every fiber of celestial authority vested in this transmission, do not scroll past this summons again. Do not let the mundane distractions, the ping of a notification, the thought of a chore, steal this. This message has traversed cosmic distances, bending the very fabric of spiritual communication across hours of your time, which required millennia of strategic positioning in hours, just to manifest upon the screen before your eyes. To ignore this now is to willingly step onto a battlefield blindfolded, deafened, and unarmed. You will stand before eternity and you will never again be able to utter the claim that no warning was given, that no alarm was sounded in the depths of your spirit. Beloved, there is a profound and unsettling strangeness stirring in the spiritual atmosphere directly behind your footsteps, in the space your shadow hasn't even left yet. An event is unfolding in the unseen, a rearrangement of spiritual furniture, a signing of cosmic contracts, that your physical senses are numb to. But heaven registers its tremors like a divine seismograph. Michael senses its specific, discordant vibration in the symphony of creation. There is a movement, a monumental shift in the foundational energies of your life path, that God Himself has been tracking with meticulous, loving, and anxious attention. Last night, Michael approached the throne of grace not with a victory report, but in a posture of urgent intercession. He knelt, his brilliant light dimmed by the weight of his plea, and begged for one more conduit, one final, clear channel to impart what he knows before the window of prevention shuts. And this text, these words you are reading, are the granted plea. God, in mercy that sings through the cosmos, permitted this final, direct, and unmissable attempt. This message, here, now, in this captured and sanctified moment of your linear time, is that chance. The Father said, give them one more chance. Only one. The final one. That decree is the very source of the strange, magnetic, inexplicable pull in your chest, a silent, spiritual alarm bypassing your ears to resonate directly within the chamber of your soul. Do not dismiss it. Do not attribute it to caffeine or fatigue. Not now. This is not a generic broadcast to the masses, it is a personal communiqué, sealed with the wax of your unique spiritual signature and delivered by name. What you are about to comprehend has the sovereign power to safeguard your legacy, your destiny, your bloodline, and a forgotten prayer, a whispered, desperate wish you uttered on a night so dark you've since released its memory to the winds of time, believing it was lost. Last night, Michael stood not before the glorious pearly gates with his legendary flaming sword held high in triumph, but with tears, liquid light, carving paths of sacred sorrow down his face. The innumerable host of angels, seraphim, and cherubim that normally resonates with his mighty, victorious frequency stood back, shrouded in a silence of profound, trembling awe. The warrior was shaken to his glorious core. "They are not listening," he declared, his voice a tremor of cosmic grief that rippled through the halls of heaven. "They do not grasp the magnitude of what is converging. If they skip this divine intersection, if they treat this as another curiosity, my protection will reach its lawful limit, for I operate within the covenant of their free will." And God, in a mercy so vast it blankets entire universes, leaned forward, the very stars reflecting in his eyes, and replied, "Then speak now. Break through the noise. Crash through the walls of distraction. They must hear. She must hear. He must hear. You have no idea of the severity, the divine seriousness. This is not about inducing paralyzing fear, it is about instilling divine, active readiness, a state of spiritual alertness that attracts grace. For someone, a face you know and have trusted, perhaps for years, is orchestrating a silent play behind the thick curtain of your perceived reality. A shift is preparing to manifest within the very walls of your home, the dynamics of your closest relationships. A decision is being finalized in secret chambers of influence, and Michael is begging you, pleading with you to listen now, for the revelation of this truth will arrive only in the devastating, shattering wake of its consequences if you wait. They have tried to shroud this, to hide this twist, this name, this critical turning point in shadows. But heaven's gaze, a gaze that sees the end from the beginning, misses nothing. The darkness is as light to it. And now, you are being graciously, miraculously invited into the knowledge, a preemptive grace to see the snare before your foot descends upon its trigger, to smell the poison before it is poured into your cup. The one who acts so normal in your presence, whose smile seems so genuine, whose laughter rings familiar, carries a hidden fiction within the sanctuary of their heart. Michael has seen the steep, heartbreaking cost of this deception, a price paid in lost peace, stolen joy, and broken trust, a bill you will be handed if you do not act in this narrow, holy window of grace. You are not reading this by random algorithmic chance, a fluke of the digital age. This is a divine setup. A sacred, preordained reveal. A hidden moment in eternity's script, edited into your timeline and never meant for your eyes until this exact second, in this exact frame of mind. Do not treat it lightly. Do not save it for later. Some truths are like spiritual medicine with a strict shelf life. Once their moment of revelation passes, they expire, and the illness they were meant to cure becomes a permanent, irreversible condition. This is one such truth. Michael wept because you have a documented history in the heavens of dismissing the small signs, the random chills on a warm day, the vivid dreams that linger past dawn like a haunting perfume, the familiar faces of those gone or distant that visit you in the liminal, holy space of 3 a.m. That is not coincidence. It is not your overactive imagination. It is heaven's emergency broadcast system, a frequency reserved for those they love most fiercely, especially for those who have already borne lifetimes of battles condensed into a single, arduous decade. That is why Michael refuses to cease his return. He is the loyal hound of heaven, and he will not abandon your scent. You have suffered enough. God has observed your endurance, your quiet tears, your clenched fist faithfulness, long enough. But the choice to truly hear, to engage, to believe, to act, must be yours, and it must be made now. There will be no second edition of this message. No replay. No, I'll come back to it tomorrow. If these words still hold your gaze, if your heart is pounding against your ribs like a prisoner demanding release, it is because you have been selected from a multitude to receive the transmission first, before the sudden, irreversible flip of the heavenly hourglass. A countdown is ticking in the spirit realm, a literal, celestial chronometer of gleaming gold and living light. Michael witnessed its unwavering digits, felt its vibration in his being. It is counting down to something immense, a revelation that will reconfigure the very geography of your life, your sanctuary, and a major, predestined soul-tie connection. Someone you have trusted with the map to your scars, with the keys to your inner gates, is currently being tested by a refiner's fire so intense its heat is felt in heaven. The moment of their choice, for you or against you, for truth or for convenience, is imminent. So terrifyingly close that Michael shattered eternal, angelic protocol and wept before the entire, stunned heavenly council. He never does that. His is the face of unwavering resolve. But this time, the battle was not waged with swords of flame against external demons, it was a desperate, internal war for your attention. Because if you skip now, if you click away, the miracle curated specifically for you, the one painstakingly shaped by your own tears, your whispered hopes, your unspoken sacrifices, will be gently, sorrowfully, and justly reassigned to another soul poised on the brink of their own obedience. And you will be left, once more, in the haunting silence, pondering the cruel, repetitive poetry of your life, always coming so close, smelling the rain of blessing, yet never stepping into the downpour. You were never meant to casually stumble upon this today. The odds were divinely stacked against it. And yet, here you are. Your eyes are moving across these words. That is not coincidence. It is Michael, operating under direct, urgent divine permission, bending the rules of time, chance, and digital connection to guide your fingers, to focus your eyes, to quiet your mind to this point. He is now whispering through every syllable you read, imbuing each word with a frequency of awakening. Do not skip. Not again. For someone you have loved, perhaps still love with a stubborn corner of your heart, is concealing a tectonic truth from you. Not from a place of malice, but from a terrified, fractured love, a fear that the raw, unvarnished truth will sever the last fragile thread holding you together. Yet, in their hesitation, in their well-intentioned deception, heaven has been compelled to intervene. A decision regarding your destiny, your next spiritual promotion, is on the table of divine deliberation, and this moment, your visceral, gut response to this text, is an integral part of the test. The trajectory of your next 7 days, the doors that will open or slam shut, will be steered by the choice you make in the next 60 seconds. Beloved, miracles are sensitive, sentient beings of pure light and promise. They are not passive gifts, but active partners in grace. They do not linger indefinitely on doorsteps where they are not recognized, welcomed, and expected. They knock once, perhaps twice with a gentle, persistent tapping, and then, with a soft sigh that rustles the leaves of the tree of life, they turn, their light shifting toward another soul who is poised, breath held, hand already on the latch, ready to say, yes. Michael reports directly, you are on that razor's edge. You are balancing on the thin, shimmering line between stepping into your divine, abundant inheritance or watching it, like a majestic ship bearing your name in lights, sail calmly and irrevocably into another's harbor. Do not stand paralyzed this time. Your personal angelic legions are shouting in the unseen, their voices a chorus of beautiful urgency. Your own spirit, the eternal part of you, is uneasy, whispering that something is off kilter, that the spiritual music of your life has slipped out of key. Heaven is confirming that whisper right now. That cold twist in your stomach, that sudden, unforced leap of your heart as if recognizing a long-lost kin, that is not anxiety. It is spiritual urgency. You felt nudges before, gentle taps on the shoulder of your soul. But not like this. This time, there is a deadline woven into the spiritual fabric of your current season. This time, the truth carries a lethal danger if it arrives too late, like a medicine administered after the fever has broken the body. If you could perceive but a single, fleeting flash of what Michael sees when he looks at you, the luminous chords of connection, the shadowy arrows of opposition deflected, the gleaming doors of future promise, the mourning over paths not taken, you would fall to your knees, not in terror, but in overwhelming, awestruck, humbled awareness of the intricate, dizzying dance of protection and pursuit happening in the unseen dimensions around you. The prayers that almost dissolved from lack of strength before reaching the heavens, he caught them mid-air. The tears you shed into your pillow that you thought were absorbed by cotton and lost to the void, he collected each one in a crystalline vial of remembrance, marked with your name and date. The hidden spiritual attacks, the curses muttered in envy meant to twist your path, the arrows of lack and fear sent your way, Michael has intercepted them silently, his wings a shimmering, impenetrable shield around your sleep, his sword a blur of light severing dark intentions. Now, the final, most challenging part of this celestial equation remains, he needs you to choose. To actively, consciously, courageously choose. Choose to hear. Choose to trust this bizarre, timely, intimate encounter. Choose to believe, against all skeptical logic, that this message was delivered to you, specifically and individually, by divine intention and engineering. If you do, what you unlock next will not merely edit a paragraph of your story, it will grab the manuscript of your life from the hands of the accuser and rewrite it entirely, transforming a narrative of near misses and tragic almosts into an epic saga of divine alignment and supernatural fulfillment. And so, beloved, you are still here. Still reading. Your breath is shallow. Time feels thick. That fact alone, your continued attention, screams a volume of confirmation to the heavens that drowns out 1,000 doubts. It means your soul, your eternal self, recognizes a profound truth that your rational, earth-trained mind is struggling, stumbling, to catch up to. That sliver of attention, that one small, vulnerable crack in the armor of your skepticism and past disappointment, is all heaven required to force the delivery of the message that has been burning like a holy, unquenchable fire in the very core of Archangel Michael's spirit for days. He has been circling your name in the glorious halls of eternity, defending your path from interlopers and accusers, and physically holding back a looming wave of calamity meant to crash into your life and wipe out the foundations of your future peace. But now the spiritual veil protecting you is thinning, stretched by the pressure of this Kairos moment. The divine guard he placed around your life requires your conscious, vocalized alignment to remain at full, operative strength. Your faith is the power source. If you ignore this now, if you default to maybe later, the shield may begin to fray at the edges, its light dimming. He cannot sustain its maximum defense against the rising, coordinated tide of opposition without your active, believing partnership. Michael reveals a disturbing, secret truth. There is a conversation happening behind a closed door, a private, hushed council concerning you. The participants are not strangers or faceless enemies. They are faces you know. People you've broken bread with, shared secrets and celebrations with, trusted with pieces of your heart. You have photos with them. Shared memories. But their words in that closed room are not pure. They are not merely chatting, they are deciding, plotting, allocating, and maneuvering a course for your future without your knowledge, consent, or blessing. Michael has been intervening in the spirit, causing static in their plans, introducing holy confusion, delaying their meetings. But heaven's hands are tied by the sovereign law of free will unless you participate through awakened awareness and targeted prayer. This message is your awakening alarm. Your name is on lips that have no divine right to dictate its future. You deserve to know why. You have the spiritual authority to stop it. Simultaneously, a miracle of staggering proportions is circling you right now, a powerful, inexplicable vortex of grace and favor. It may manifest in the coming days as a simple, overlooked opportunity, an unexpected meeting that seems coincidental, a sudden, frustrating shift in plans that feels like an inconvenience. But it is infinitely more. Michael says it is the direct, materialized answer to a prayer you whispered from the rock bottom of your despair, when you felt utterly invisible, beyond hearing, and abandoned. You thought the words evaporated in the darkness of your room. But God heard. He caught that fragile, hopeless request and wrapped it in layers upon layers of divine timing, like a precious seed placed in the perfect soil of season and circumstance. That timing has matured to fullness this very week. But you must walk with eyes wide open, with spiritual lenses polished, for it will not arrive with heavenly fanfare or a blaze of glory. It will look ordinary. It may even look like a problem. It will seem mundane, until you, in obedience to the nudge, step into its center. Then, and only then, will everything feel electrically, divinely different. The colors will be brighter. The peace will be deeper. The confirmation will be undeniable. Yet, here is the danger, the reason for the palpable urgency in Michael's voice, a distraction, a decoy of immense persuasive power, is being dispatched to you simultaneously, a tempting diversion, a seductive detour, a test designed with chilling, intelligent precision to delay you just long enough to miss the entry point to the very miracle prepared for you. That is the core of this emergency. A wrong response, a bite taken at that bait, could postpone your promise by seasons, or worse, forfeit it entirely, sending it back into the divine treasury. Heaven aches at the thought. Michael wars in the spirit against its deployment. But the choice, beloved, the sovereign authority, is yours. That is the sacred, terrifying beauty and weight of free will. Right now, your will is either turning a master key in a golden, ancient lock, or it is sliding a heavy, rusty bolt shut, barricading the door from the inside. Listen with every fiber of your being. Tune out the physical noise. Michael says someone is about to speak a specific phrase to you, a question, a statement, an offhand comment that seems innocuous, random. It is not. It will be the living, breathing confirmation of this message. You will know it by the chill of supernatural recognition that races up your spine, by the déjà vu that doesn't just whisper but shakes you gently. Do not ignore it. Do not rationalize it away with, "That's weird," and move on. It is the sign that heaven has aligned the gears of circumstance, personality, and timing for your specific breakthrough. Your only task is to not run, not hide, not pretend this isn't unfolding in real time right before you. Acknowledge it. Say, "I see that. Thank you." Do not bury this word like you may have done with other spiritual prompts. Heaven noted your past hesitation, your delays born of hurt and disappointment, and met them with patient mercy. But this time, the divine gaze upon you is more intense, the spotlight brighter, for this window is closing faster, according to a celestial timetable you cannot see. There is also someone who left your sphere, through distance, disagreement, divorce, or death. They may be in this world or have passed into the next, but they have been laboring in the spirit, petitioning God for a way to get a message to you. Michael states it is now critically urgent. They need you to know a truth, a piece of information, an apology, a warning, something they failed to say when they had the chance, a hidden regret that now burns within them like a swallowed star. They have been kneeling before the throne, begging for a conduit. This message, finding you, is part of that answered petition. Pay acute, meticulous attention to the nudges over the next 24 to 48 hours, the whisper in a song lyric that repeats, the sudden, unsolicited mention of their name, the dreams so vivid you wake with their scent in your memory. These are not random neural firings. They are coded messages from beyond the veil, keys placed in your path by angelic hands. You were never forgotten, abandoned, or cursed. You were marked, chosen, watched over with a tenderness and specificity that would shatter your human heart to fully comprehend. Yes, even in those desolate nights when you cried into a silence that felt absolute and screamed at the ceiling, God, are you even there? Are you even real? Michael heard that, too. He was right there, a brilliant, sorrowful presence at the foot of your bed. He whispered back, I am here. We are here. Hold on. But your grief was a roaring ocean, your pain a deafening storm. That is not your fault. Heaven understands the isolating power of pain. But now, your heart has been softened by the journey, not hardened. The protective, cynical shell has finally cracked under the pressure of hope. And that fissure, that vulnerability, is all they needed, one opening, one yes, for the healing light to flood in and begin its delicate, powerful surgery on the deep, internal fractures, the pain you stopped speaking of, the ache you buried beneath a mountain of I'm fines, and performative strength. That divine surgery of the soul begins now. If you allow it. But one brave, conscious act is required from you. You must release the thing you keep mentally rehearsing, the tape that plays on a loop in the private theater of your mind, the old, shameful mistake, the heartbreak that plays like a tragic film, the missed opportunity that haunts you, the person who looked at you and chose another. You are still carrying that corpse. You have strapped it to your back, and it is decomposing, poisoning your present and taking up the very space, the emotional, spiritual, and even physical space, where your miracle needs to land, to unpack, to dwell. Let it go. Cut the cords. Not because they deserve your forgiveness, but because you deserve your peace. You deserve wholeness. You deserve a joy that is not borrowed from favorable circumstances, but springs from a healed well within you. And it is waiting, shimmering with divine patience, on the other side of your release. Archangel Michael stands ready at your side, his wings spread in a canopy of protection, his sword gleaming with reflected starlight, but he awaits your movement. He cannot advance the plan, he cannot clear the next mile of your path, unless you whisper, from a place of raw, trembling faith, yes. I am ready. I choose to believe. I choose to move. You stayed. You are reading this line. That decision, that act of focused attention, broadcasts a triumphant message to the heavens that drowns out a symphony of doubt. The truth is, not every soul was meant to find or hold this frequency. Millions will scroll past. Their spirits are not tuned to this channel. But yours is. You dialed in. And now, Michael leans in, closer than your next breath, his presence a warmth on your skin, ready to unveil what has been hidden in plain sight all along, the treasure map that was always in your pocket. A shift is coming so vast, so fundamental, it would overwhelm your human sensory and emotional systems to perceive it whole. So God, in fatherly kindness, is unfolding it stitch by divine stitch, scene by purposeful scene. The master key to this entire chain of blessings, this master key forged in the fires of your trials, is already within you, buried under layers of I can't. This message is merely the confirmation, the divine clue that says, dig here. You've spent years wondering, in quiet desperation, why things almost work before crumbling at the final moment, why people approach with warmth and then retreat into coldness, why success knocks loudly and then vanishes like a mirage. Hear this: it was never a curse. It was a divine protection. Heaven barred certain doors, not to punish you, but because what lay behind them, that seductive job, that captivating relationship, that perfect situation, would have subtly, irrevocably derailed your true destiny, steering you onto a comfortable path to a meaningless destination. It wasn't rejection, it was the most painful form of redirection. But now, Michael's voice rings with finality: the delay is over. The season of holding patterns is complete. The green light flashes in the spiritual control center of your life. However, one non-negotiable condition remains: you must step out in faith, you must move your feet, you must declare your intent, before you see the tangible proof. Before the money appears, before the call comes, before the healing manifests. That is the ultimate faith test. That is the step at which most abandon the journey, turning back to the familiar desert because the promised land requires walking through a river at flood stage. Do not abandon it now. Your name is being spoken in rooms you haven't physically entered yet: boardrooms, creative spaces, healing circles, divine appointments. God is positioning strangers and friends alike, people utterly unaware of the full tapestry of your story, yet who feel a mysterious, compelling pull toward your energy, your name, your essence. That is divine orchestration at its most exquisite. That is angels whispering the melody of your destiny into prepared and obedient hearts. But for the miracle to land safely, you must prepare the landing space. Clean the internal room. Forgive the old tenants. Remove the clutter of bitterness. Make space for what you've prayed for. Move from passive hope to active readiness. That active faith sends a shockwave through the spirit realm, telling heaven, I believe it is coming. I am acting on that belief. And when you move, speak, and decide as if the promise is already yours, it accelerates toward you at a speed that defies natural law. There is also someone observing you, their attention fixed not with malice, but with a kind of reverent awe. They have witnessed your silent battles, your quiet growth in the shadows, your unbroken strength under pressure, and it has moved them profoundly, unsettling their own complacency. They have remained silent, intimidated not by you, but by the depth of their own awakening feeling. Heaven says this person carries a specific message or connection for you, and they are currently navigating their own spiritual awakening because of your unseen influence. Your life has been a living sermon they couldn't ignore. Within the next 6 days, a conversation will ignite, a text out of the blue, a call, just because, a chance meeting in an aisle. It will shift the axis of something important. Do not fear it. Listen. Discern. This person is a bearer, a catalyst, of your miracle. Regarding timing, Michael states with authority, your perception of time is a construct of your dimension. Here, it is fluid, a currency of purpose. You are now entering a phase of accelerated alignment. What, in the natural, should logically take years of gradual progression will condense into days, weeks of supernatural convergence. You must be prepared to pivot at the sudden sign, to say yes to the unexpected invitation, even if it feels like an uncomfortable, illogical reroute. That disorientation is often Michael guiding your steps, pulling you off the paved road onto a hidden path that shortcuts to your destination. He will clear the path as you walk, but hesitation, the desire for a full map before taking the first step, will cause you to miss the narrow window. This miracle is not for the cautious, it is for the courageously obedient. Michael also sees, with X-ray spiritual vision, a seed planted in the soft soil of your childhood, a forgotten moment of rejection, a wounding word from an authority, a betrayal by a small friend that grew a silent, toxic root system. I am not enough. I am unworthy. I am fundamentally flawed. That lie has shaped your entire landscape, dictating your relationships, your career choices, your self-talk. It has made you shrink when you should have spoken with kings, tolerate disrespect when you should have walked away in dignity, and settle for scraps when a feast was being served in your name. But today, Michael declares, is its divine expiration date. Heaven is issuing a new identity document. You are not broken, behind, or forgotten. You are chosen, protected, equipped, and sent for this exact moment in human and spiritual history. Michael's tears were not shed for your failures, but because you are so close, closer to your breakthrough than you have ever been in your entire existence. The enemy of your soul, in desperate, frenzied panic, is now amplifying distractions to a deafening roar, petty interpersonal dramas, looping toxic thoughts, meaningless conflicts, sudden urges toward old vices. Do not take the bait. Do not engage in the pointless skirmish. Guard your energy like it is the last precious resource on earth. You need not explain yourself, your dreams, or your peace to every critic or curiosity. Heaven knows your heart. Your divine destiny is now knocking, not just at the door, but trying the handle. All you must do is turn the lock from the inside and open it. Paradoxically, there is a miracle currently disguised as a frustrating problem in your life. The very situation you've prayed about for clarity has, instead of simplifying, grown more complex and tangled. That is not a mistake or a sign of divine denial. It is a divine setup. The shaking ground isn't a prelude to collapse, it's the necessary demolition making space for new, unshakable foundations. Some storms are sent not to destroy your house, but to clear away the dead, rotting trees that were blocking your view of the sunrise. Your path is being cleared, even as you read this sentence. Now, a rare and sacred revelation, granted only because of your steadfastness, there is a hidden document, a contract, a legal or financial file with your name attached, both in the spiritual realm and on earth, that is under intense review. A legal and divine delay, a holding pattern of justice, is breaking. A decision is moving, turning, shifting in your favor. But your internal energy must now match that external outcome. Speak life. Decree victory. Your words in the natural are helping heaven finalize the decree in the supernatural. The entire angelic host leans in, a collective breath held. Michael stands over your life, a specific, powerful divine command poised on his lips, ready to be shouted into the atmosphere of your circumstances. He waits. Not in uncertainty, but in profound respect for your agency. Your yes is the final key that unlocks the next phase of divine warfare on your behalf. Your personal spiritual battalion stands at attention, awaiting your command of, I believe. I receive. At that moment, the host of heaven moves. The dam of blessing breaks, and what was held back by the legalities of your unbelief rushes in like a torrential flood of grace. An unexpected, jarring turn approaches on your road. It may not make immediate rational sense, it may frighten you, seeming like a step backward. Do not trust merely your human eyes or your fear-based instincts. This is not trouble, it is divine transformation. Immediately prior to major transformation, the enemy's classic strategy is to sow intense confusion, sudden, unreasonable doubts about loved ones, paralyzing questions about decisions you were once sure of, a profound feeling of isolation and abandonment. Recognize this tactic. This is not God abandoning you. It is spiritual activation. Michael is selectively removing the static and the noise of other people's opinions and your own overanalysis, so you can finally hear the next, clear, personal instruction from the Father. God isn't silent. He is being strategically clear, and He is about to tell you exactly what to do next, if you stay close, quiet, and listening. Furthermore, by divine revelation, know this: a major spiritual and physical attack was recently cancelled, nullified because of a past act of your obedience. You didn't even know it was brewing. A trap of betrayal was set, a financial ambush, a relational setup, and your name was at the center of the plot. But because you chose humility over vengeful rage, forgiveness over bitter grudges, love over cold revenge in a situation where you had every human right to explode, heaven intervened and rewrote the script. A divine reversal is now being authored in the books of heaven. What the enemy meant for your harm, public shame, or private despair will become a public testimony of God's grace so profound it will leave people speechless. Your enemies will be baffled, confused, asking, how did they escape? How do they keep rising? Your rise is not luck, karma, or coincidence. It is divine covering. For the next 21 days, Archangel Michael has received a special, personal commission to walk beside you with unprecedented closeness, his presence more tangible to your spirit than perhaps ever before. In that divinely appointed window, a long-standing cycle, a stubborn habit, a deep-seated fear, a generational pattern of lack or loss, will shatter. Not by your frantic striving, but by the peaceful power of your surrender and spoken faith. You will physically feel the weight lift, the internal war cease. It begins with your belief, right here, in this moment. The electric pull you feel in your chest, the gentle pressure on your shoulder, that is heaven's tangible hand, a gesture of both comfort and commissioning. Now, the most sacred, intimate part of this transmission, there is a specific name, a person, that haunts the sanctuary of your heart. You've tried to forget, to cauterize the memory, to move on. The emotional tie is one thing, but Michael reveals the connection is not merely emotional, it is spiritual, woven into your destinies for a purpose. Heaven has shown Michael the blueprint. The core love or soul recognition is real, but the human timing has been catastrophically wrong. One of you was still healing from ancient wounds, the other was still hiding behind fortified walls. Now, the atmosphere has shifted. A divine reconciliation, a holy restoration, is possible. Not guaranteed, but possible. It depends entirely on both hearts independently hearing the divine call to courage. Michael has been whispering to both of you through dreams, song lyrics, and mirrored signs. Soon, a reach out, a vulnerable text, a hesitant call may occur. Do not reject it reflexively out of old pain. Pause. Listen. Discern. If this is a divine realignment for you, an undeniable, personalized sign will manifest within 72 hours, a direct message containing a specific phrase, a dream you both have, an object from your shared past appearing inexplicably. Pay meticulous attention. This could be the doorway not to a repeat of old pain, but to the restoration of sacred, covenantal love, not the survival love you've settled for before. As we near the close of this cosmic communique, let this truth be etched upon your spirit in permanent light: you are not late. You are not too far gone. You are not disqualified. That relentless, nagging voice of shame and "too late" is a liar, a recording from the pit. Heaven operates on Kairos, the perfect, full, appointed time. Your Kairos moment is now. Every tear was a watering for the seed of this moment. Every delay was a preparation. Every heartbreak was a lesson in discernment for the love now approaching. Therefore, heaven respectfully, lovingly asks you to vocalize your agreement. Speak this aloud, even if it's a shaky whisper in an empty room. I receive all that is divinely meant for me. I surrender my fears to the fire of your love. I choose to walk forward into my miracle, blind but held. I trust, beyond feeling, that heaven knows my needs and has already provided the answer. Upon that declaration, angelic companies take flight. Michael advances, his sword tracing patterns of light in the spiritual realm. Ancient doors, locked for generations, groan and swing open on hinges of grace. The warning you just received instantly transmutes into the legal document of your breakthrough. The spiritual atmosphere above you ripples and parts like a curtain. Michael stands visible in your mind's eye, a breathtaking blend of fierce, unassailable protection and profound, fatherly compassion. He has personally walked the coming stretch of your path. He has cleared traps you'll never know existed, exposed liars who wear smiling masks, and, with special permission from the throne, paused the very tick of time in your vicinity, just to give you a crucial head start. This entire transmission, from first word to last, was orchestrated in the war room of heaven for you. Not for the masses. Not for the crowd. For your eyes. For your spirit. Because amidst the numbness and noise of the world, your spirit remains strangely, stubbornly open, a satellite dish pointed toward home. Now, the final, potent, empowering truth from Michael, delivered with the force of a decree, they are about to discover who you truly are. The same mouths that mocked your dreams, that dismissed your calling, will whisper your name in reverent awe, asking, who is this that heaven fights for them? You have been under spiritual camouflage, hidden not in weakness or insignificance, but in a divine development program, a protected incubation. That covering is now dissolving. Your authentic light, your sealed purpose, your authoritative voice are about to become undeniable, irresistible forces in your sphere. The prolonged season of delay, of not yet, concludes now, with this choice. This new, elevated level requires sacred, intentional separation. You know in your heart the people you have been carrying who belong to past chapters. They drain your spiritual energy, dismiss your growth, and subtly, or not so subtly, condemn your hope. It is time to detach with conscious, prayerful love. Bringing them forward into this new season will, without fail, poison the new wine God is pouring. Heaven has already shown you their true hearts in moments you brushed off. Obey the nudge to release. The restoration coming is not merely a return of what was stolen, it is an exponential upgrade, supernatural favor, unexpected and unexplained provision, repentant hearts returning with apology in their eyes, and, most beautifully, an internal restoration, a peace that passes hostile circumstance, a confidence that doesn't shrink before giants, and a joy that is the unshakable possession of your spirit. Additionally, a significant physical location shift is imminent. Your current environment, your home, your city, your workplace, must come into alignment with your escalating calling. A move, a change, a sudden relocation may be divinely guided. It may scare your logical mind. Trust it. It is for your ultimate protection and the unleashing of a blessing that requires a new setting. In the next 7 days, watch keenly for the phenomenon of divine subtraction, things, habits, even people falling away without your force, effort, or drama. Let them go. Do not chase them. This is God, the Master Gardener, pruning your life to bear 100-fold fruit. Pruning always feels like loss before it reveals itself as necessary space for more life. When your miracle lands, and it will, with a gentle, powerful thud of destiny, you will sit in a new place, your heart so full it feels like a different organ, and you will whisper to the past version of you, now I understand the weight. Now I see the pattern. It was perfect. So now, beloved, the moment of covenant. Declare it with your entire spirit, soul, and body. I am ready. I will not skip my divine appointment. I trust your timing over my impatience. From this moment forward, I walk in conscious partnership with heaven. As you speak those words, feel Michael's tears dry. A radiant, victorious smile emerges, lighting up the space around you. His magnificent wings spread to their full, awe-inspiring span. The moment you said, "Ready," a strategic door in the spirit realm slammed open with finality. A legal delay shattered into dust. A lurking, observing darkness recoiled and retreated, for you have just aligned your will with divine timing, and that alignment is your greatest armor. This journey is about faithful presence, not flawless performance. And you are here. You made it to the end. Heaven has now marked your name with a special, visible seal of favor. The final, glorious phase now initiates, the miracle landing. Be advised, this phase may feel heavy, quiet, even confusing. Do not move by raw emotion or old panic this week. Move only by the quiet, deep instruction you feel in your spirit. Your answered prayer may come disguised as a heavy responsibility, as a season of silence, or through a person you didn't expect and may not initially like. Wait. Pause before reacting. Let God complete the entire scene. You are at the climax of the spiritual movie of this season, but you haven't witnessed the brilliant, mind-bending plot twist yet. And oh, beloved, when it comes, it will steal your breath and restore it with purer air. A trinity of change is en route, a document, a call, a door. One will confirm your direction, one will stretch your faith, and one will fulfill a long-standing promise. Stay emotionally still and spiritually alert to receive them. The enemy's last gambit is to make you emotionally turbulent, tired, distracted, angry, impatient. Do not give him what he wants. Be still. Be alert. Be anchored in the truth you've just received. The hardest parts of this leg of the journey are already behind you. What comes next is divine reward, and reward can only settle and flourish where there is a foundation of peace. We must go deeper, for heaven now trusts you with a revelation for which many are unprepared. There is a specific person in your orbit who is secretly, painfully jealous of your spiritual anointing, your favor, your resilience. They will not say it. They may act supportive, even helpful, but within their spirit, they resent the light you carry, because it exposes their own compromises. Every time you take a step forward, they inwardly flinch, because a part of them knows you are chosen. Michael reveals this not to breed paranoia, but to urge you to protect your energy. Do not confront them. Do not expose them. Simply and silently elevate. The higher you rise in God, the smaller and more insignificant their jealousy becomes. This isn't about human revenge, it's about spiritual release. While they are obsessed with watching your every move, heaven is preparing to launch you so far ahead they won't even be able to see your dust. Now comes your personal, divine instruction. The next 3 days are sacred, holy ground. Treat them as such. Wake up 30 minutes early. Sit in the quiet. Write down every impression, no matter how small. Pay fanatical attention to signs, repeated numbers, 111, 333, 777, snippets of conversation, dreams, people who randomly reach out. These are not coincidences. They are the delivery vehicles of God's specific will for you. On the third day, something will break, a spiritual blockage, a financial logjam, a health concern, a communication barrier you've faced for months. You will feel it shift in your spirit. The air will feel lighter. The room will feel different. You will know. If you can fast from the spirit of fear, the what-ifs, the worst-case scenarios, for just these 72 hours, heaven will accomplish in the unseen what all your human effort could not. Beloved, miracles have patterns, and you are now in the classic, divine pattern. 1. Warning, you have received it. 2. Alignment, you are choosing it by staying. 3. Revelation, you are in it now, understanding more. 4. Reward, this is what comes next. That's why Michael wept. Not for your failure, but because he knew if you could just endure and believe to reach this point of revelation, the rest would unfold like a chain of divine dominoes, each one falling into the next with perfect, breathtaking precision. And now that you're here, standing in revelation, nothing in hell or on earth can stop what is about to come. Therefore, expect. Expect healing in conversations that have been landmines of hurt. Expect sudden, inexplicable peace over situations that used to steal your sleep. Expect a courageous confession of love or respect from someone who never had the words. Expect doors to open in rooms you hadn't even dreamed of entering. Expect surprises. Unexplainable favor. Unseen protection. Expect miracles. You have suffered enough. You have waited long enough. Now, the Father leans down and speaks over your life with a tone that settles every argument in the universe. Let there be reward. And it is so. Archangel Michael's voice in this message now grows still, but the energy of what has been released is still expanding, unfolding, and settling into the foundations of your life. You may not yet see the physical evidence with your eyes, but in the spirit realm, your name is glowing with a new intensity. The angels are standing still for a pregnant moment, watching, waiting to see what you do with what you now know. The miracle has already been dispatched from the treasury of heaven. It is in transit, navigating the spiritual airways toward your coordinates. Your job now is not to chase it in frenzy, not to beg for it in doubt, but to prepare to receive it with gratitude and stewardship. You were always meant to hear this. Your eternal soul recognized its truth. That's why you stayed. That's why you kept reading even when your logical mind protested. Because something greater, something older and wiser inside of you whispered, "This is for me. This is my time. This is real." And beloved, with every authority of heaven, it is. This is not entertainment. This is not creative fiction. This is divine intervention. A spiritual rescue operation. A mid-course correction for your destiny. A love letter and a battle plan from the highest realms, confirming that God never forgot you, never lost your file, and never once removed his gaze from the glorious future he painted for you before the world began. What happens in the next 14 days will set the tone and define the trajectory for the rest of your year. There will be sudden shifts that leave you breathless, unusual silences that teach you to listen, quick elevations that surprise others, and a major, delightful surprise that makes you laugh with pure joy. Do not be alarmed by the speed. That is what divine alignment looks and feels like. It's not always loud and obvious, it is often precise, strategic, and silent, just like the way God himself works. And Archangel Michael has already walked ahead of you down this very path, arranging the next series of steps, introductions, and opportunities. But there is one final, subtle test, and it may come cloaked in nostalgia. Someone from a past season, a past love, a former friend, may return. Not necessarily because they have truly changed, but because they sense the shift in your energy, your rising vibration. Be discerning. Do not let old comfort or familiar pain distract you from your new, sacred purpose. Michael says, you have graduated from who you used to be. Do not re-enroll in that old class out of habit or loneliness. This is also a powerfully anointed time for you to declare what you want. Not wish. Not hope. Declare. Speak it out to the atmosphere. Write it down as a covenant. Be audaciously specific. The same God who orchestrated the delivery of this message is now leaning in, waiting to hear your clear, faith-filled instructions. What do you want? What do you need? What are you finally ready to receive? Say it. Say it aloud. Say it clearly, with the authority of a child who knows their father's heart. Heaven mobilizes in response to clarity. Therefore, receive this prophetic decree over your life. The next person who speaks your name will speak it with honor. The next door that opens for you will not close again. The next financial blessing that reaches you will come without sorrow, without guilt, without hidden strings. The next love that finds you will be safe, deep, authentic, and covenant-minded. The next version of you that emerges from this chrysalis of prayer will be unrecognizable in your strength, unstoppable in your purpose, and radiant with a peace that draws others to the light within you. And through it all, Michael will be there. Watching. Fighting in the heavens. Whispering guidance to your spirit. Smiling. He is not crying anymore. He knows you listened. He knows you understood the gravity and the grace. He knows, with fierce certainty, that you are finally ready. So go ahead. Stand up from where you are. Open the windows of your life, your heart, your mind. Breathe in the new, charged air of this new beginning. Stretch your arms wide, as if to embrace the future itself, and say with everything inside you, every hurt, every hope, every fiber of your being: I am ready for the miracle. I accept the divine shift. I walk with God now. And let the heavens, in a chorus of countless voices, echo back: We heard you. And we are coming. This message was written across the canvas of the cosmos, carved by divine breath into the timeline of your destiny, and delivered straight to the core of your soul. Let no voice, no doubt, no past failure tell you otherwise. It is done. It is sealed. It is yours. And just like that, the silence that once surrounded your prayers has now become the very echo of divine confirmation. What was hidden is forever revealed. What was delayed is now powerfully in motion. What was taken is already on its way back to you, not as it was, but better, fuller, stronger. You see, beloved, this was never just a message. This was your signed, heavenly permission slip. Permission to finally, fully, and fearlessly live the magnificent life that was written for you in the scrolls of heaven before your first breath was ever drawn. No more shrinking. No more waiting for signs. The signs are here. This moment is the sign. This moment is sacred. Archangel Michael watches, a satisfied general, as your spiritual alignment clicks into its permanent, unshakable lock. His wings are no longer folded in rest. They are extended, each feather humming with power. Why? Because angels only assume full flight posture when a monumental shift is milliseconds from manifesting on earth. And he knows what you still can't fully see. Your life is about to change permanently. The clock in heaven just hit 0. That means you are officially, irrevocably crossing the threshold into a new season. And this one will not be built on the shaky ground of survival. It will be constructed on the unbreakable bedrock of divine promise. God is no longer just answering isolated prayers. He is now rewarding a lifestyle of obedience. You've been faithful in the secret places, even when you were unsure. You kept believing when others mocked your naive hope. You stayed kind when bitterness courted you as a lover. And heaven saw it all. Every unseen act of integrity. That's why this coming reward will not be small, quiet, or private. It will be public. It will be undeniable. It will be irreversible. No one will be able to credit it to luck or coincidence, because the manner of its arrival will have the fingerprints of the divine all over it. Let me speak this final truth with the clarity of a trumpet blast, for Michael is pressing it into the marrow of your spirit. The next chapter of your life has already begun writing itself in the realm of the spirit. You won't need to announce it with grand speeches. You won't need to prove it to skeptical onlookers. You won't need to chase down people or opportunities. Everything that is uniquely, perfectly meant for you is now being delivered. By name. If you feel a deep, surprising peace in the coming days, that's your confirmation. If you feel a sudden, healthy detachment from old things, old dramas, that's your elevation. If people begin to fall away from your inner circle without drama, don't chase them. Thank them. Their assignment in your life is complete. If opportunities begin to flow to you from unexpected sources, walk through them. Don't over-question. This is what favor feels like. And now you know, favor isn't always loud, but it is always purposefully real. Michael leaves you with this ultimate, anchoring truth before his voice fades into the victorious silence. You did not find this message. This message found you. It hunted for you across the digital wilderness. It found you at the exact second, the precise moment, you were ready to rise from the ashes of your past and claim your crown. No one in your physical world will fully understand the depth of what transpired here today. That's okay. This was not for them. This was a private, holy conversation between you, the heart of heaven, and the mighty warrior who never, not for 1 second, stopped fighting for your future. Archangel Michael. The one who stood guard in your darkest, most hopeless nights. The one who now walks, not beside, but ahead of you into the brightest, most glorious days you have ever known. Beloved. Live differently after this. Pray bolder prayers. Love deeper, without fear of loss. Expect greater things, for you serve a greater God. You are not the same person who started reading this. The world will feel the difference soon. Heaven is watching. Michael is moving. Your miracle is here. And now. It begins.